Autumn was in full swing in Ohio. The leaves outside Lincoln High, a suburban high school, glowed gold and crimson, crunching under the feet of students hurrying to catch their buses. I, Emma Thompson, sat in the front row of literature class, jotting down thoughts about The Great Gatsby. My notebook was covered with drawings of ivy, the symbol of my Yale dreams. I was a typical straight-A student, captain of the debate team, volunteering at every event, working at the bookstore on weekends. All for an Ivy League scholarship. No drama, no gossip. Until that day. Miss Hargrove, our new literature teacher, was unlike any other. Her classes were like theater. She brought Shakespeare to life as if it were a Netflix series. Red hair, always perfectly coiffed, green eyes as sharp as a blade, and a wardrobe straight out of a fashion magazine. Half the class had a crush on her, boys and girls alike. I was simply fascinated. She noticed my potential, keeping me after class to discuss an essay or recommend a book. That Friday bell rang, signaling the end of classes. The classroom emptied in seconds, everyone chatting about parties. I was packing my backpack when she called out, "Emma, can you stay a minute?" Her voice was soft as silk, but with a strange note that I nodded, throwing my backpack over my shoulder. The classroom smelled of markers and old books, cozy, familiar. She leaned her elbows on the desk, her smile warm, but her eyes seemed to look right through me. "I need your help," she said. "I'm starting a project for the Literature Club, a digital archive of classics with annotations. But I'm drowning in paperwork. Could you help me sort through it after class?" "An hour, no more." I hesitated. I had plans, an evening with my friend Sarah, popcorn, a horror movie. But cancel? It's Miss Hargrove. A plus for my resume. "Sure, I'll help," I replied. "Great. Meet me at 3:30 in the old storage room in the basement. It's where the book archives are and the drama club props are." Basement? Odd. The Lincoln High basement was legendary, gloomy, dimly lit, with rumors of ghosts dating back to the 1920s, when the school burned down. But I dismissed my doubts. "Teachers have access to all sorts of places, right?" I texted Sarah, canceling the movie, helping the teacher. She replied, "Seriously, Em? Cramming again?" If only I'd known how this would turn out. The Lincoln High basement was a place no one went without a reason. Rumors of the ghost of a teacher who had died in a fire swirled among the freshmen. I descended the creaky stairs, turning on the flashlight on my phone. The lights flickered like in a cheap horror movie. The air was cold and smelled of mold. I sneezed, my footsteps echoing in the empty hallway. The storage room door was ajar. I knocked and entered. "Miss Hargrove?" My voice echoed off the walls. "Here, Emma," she called from the depths. The room was a maze of metal shelves piled high with boxes, old suits, and yellowed manuscripts. A single light bulb swung from the ceiling, casting shadows like claws. Miss Hargrove sat on a stool, surrounded by boxes. Her hair was slightly disheveled, her sleeves rolled up, not the elegant teacher from back in the classroom. "Thank you for coming. Let's sort through these." She handed me a stack of folders. "Sort them by author. I'll handle the heavy ones." We worked in silence. Dust got in my nose, and I sneezed again. The folders weren't just school ones. There were letters, old photos, newspaper clippings. One picture showed a young woman resembling Miss Hargrove next to a man in a suit. A wedding. The date on the back was 1985. "Miss Hargrove, what is this?" I picked up the photo. She glanced at it, and her face twitched. Panic flickered in her eyes, but was quickly hidden behind a smile. "Just family heirlooms," she answered, too quickly. "The school allows personal items. Keep sorting." I nodded, but questions began to churn in my head. What happened next was even stranger. A missing persons notice. Elena Voss, 32, disappeared under mysterious circumstances. A letter addressed to Elena Hargrove, "Come back, we'll fix this." Elena? Her name is Rebecca. I tried to focus, but my thoughts were reeling. Why was I here? There were other students in the club. Sarah sent another message. Are you alive? That teacher is weird. Remember the rumors about her? Like she's in the witness protection program." I chuckled, but my doubts grew. At 4:15, she stood up. "Emma, that's enough for today. But help me lift this box." The box, covered with a tarp, stood in the corner. We dragged it to the table, and the tarp slid off. Not the books. Hammers, ropes, plastic sheeting. My heart started pounding. "What is this?" I whispered, stepping back. Her face hardened. "Emma, sit down. We need to talk." I backed away. The door was behind me, but it was between me and the exit. I have to go. Mom's waiting. Not now, her voice was too calm. She took out the key and locked the door. Click. You've seen too much. My phone's in my backpack, across the room. This is madness. Let me go. She sighed, pulling up a chair. Sit down. I'm not Rebecca Hargrove. I'm Elena Voss. And I've been hiding for 20 years. Hiding? Are you a criminal? She laughed bitterly. No, sweetheart. I'm a victim. I was. She began to pace, her elegance bursting at the seams. My husband, Victor Hargrove, was a psychology professor. Charming, rich. But he had secrets. He conducted experiments on students, psychological ones, hypnosis, drugs. When I found out, I wanted to leave. He made me disappear. Everyone thinks I'm dead. That I remembered the photo, the wedding. It was her, younger. Why did you go back to teaching? It's safe. Small town, no one's looking. But a week ago, a letter arrived. He's close. He knows I'm here. Why me? My voice trembled. You're smart, reliable. I need someone to get him a message. Tell him I'm leaving town. He'll follow a false trail. A message? To your psycho husband? No. She grabbed my hand, her fingers digging in like pliers. If he finds me, everything will fall apart. You saw the papers. If you leave, you'll tell. I can't take that risk. There was a knock on the door. Softly, then louder, her eyes widened. He's here. The knocking turned into blows. Elena. I know you're in there. A man's voice, low and menacing. Victor? Hide. Behind the shelves, she whispered. That I dove into the shadows, my heart pounding like a drum. The door shook. How did he have the key? It swung open, and a tall man in a cloak, with gray hair and a scar on his cheek, entered. His face was contorted with rage. Elena, my love. Long time no see. She stepped back. Victor, get out. It's over. He smirked. Over? You stole my life, my reputation, my job. And now you're hiding in this hole? I peeked out from behind the shelf. He had a gun in his hand. Black, shiny, real. There's a student here. Let her go. A student? He glanced around the room. Come out, girl. Or it will be worse. My phone vibrated in her backpack. A message from Sarah. Where are you? The noise gave me away. He turned. There you are. He took a step toward me, but Elena lunged at him, shouting, Run, Emma. I grabbed the fake sword, heavy, even though it was fake, and swung it at his legs. He stumbled, the gun falling, skidding across the floor. Elena grabbed it, aiming it with a trembling hand. Go away, Victor. Or I'll shoot. You wouldn't dare. Weakling. The shot. The roar was deafening. Victor clutched his shoulder, blood spurting from between his fingers. He ran out, stumbling. Elena dropped the gun, sobbing. Call the police. Tell me everything. I grabbed the phone and dialed 911. Lincoln High, basement. He shot. No, she shot. Come. Sirens blared minutes later. The police burst in, shouting, Hands up. Elena raised her palms, and so did I. Victor was caught in the courtyard, bleeding. The headlines the next day screamed, Heroic teacher stops maniac. I became a local celebrity. Interviews, reports, even a scholarship increase from the school, but something was wrong. I couldn't sleep. The echo of the gunshot, her tears, his smirk, everything was spinning in my head. Why me? Why the basement? I dug through the school library, typing names into Google. I found articles about Victor Hargrove and Elena. Both were implicated in the 90s experiments. They published papers on subconscious manipulation. The victims, students, blamed both. Elena smiled as she injected us, wrote one dot, but after her disappearance, they blamed Victor. She faked her death, setting up a double, a woman killed to cover her tracks. The gun? She'd gotten it from her bag, not the floor. I was paid to frame Victor. I sent an anonymous letter to the police with clippings. The reply, case closed. Your testimony helped. They believed her. Sarah, my best friend, noticed I'd changed. We were sitting in the cafeteria, munching on sandwiches. She was a typical chatterbox, blonde, always up on gossip. You're like a zombie. What did you dig up? Sarah, remember you were following me that day? Heard the gunshot, called the cops? Yes, I saved your life. She laughed, but her eyes were serious. Elena used me. She knew Victor would come. She set it all up. Evidence? A postcard. Articles. And there was a camera in the basement. Small, hidden. We decided to go back. The principal gave us permission for therapy. Sarah picked the lock, thanks to her brother. I found a camera with an SD card in the basement. At home, we inserted it into our laptop. The video, our conversation, the knock, Victor bursting in. But the angle showed that Elena opened the door herself. The gun is from her bag. And at the end, her whisper into the camera, phase 1 completed. Now, the girl. The girl, that's me. What's this, phase 1? I lay awake scrolling through the video. In the morning, I went to the police. Detective Martin frowned. Emma, this is serious. But Elena is a victim. Her story is verified. Check the video. She manipulated everything, we'll see. But Victor is in jail, she's in California. Don't interfere, it's dangerous. I couldn't stop myself. I found her new address through a fake teacher profile in San Francisco. Sarah urged her, don't go alone. Take me. We bought bus tickets, Mom thought it was a school trip. The drive from Ohio to California was long, but the adrenaline kept me awake. We hatched a plan, find Elena, extract a confession, and record it. San Francisco greeted us with fog and hills. Her school was modern, with an ocean view. We waited after class. She emerged, the same elegance, a new hairstyle. Rebecca. Or Elena. I screamed, she froze. Her smile vanished. Emma? How did you? We know the truth. The video. The experiments. You're not a victim. She looked around, grabbed my hand. Not here. At the cafe. At the cafe by the bay, she ordered coffee, but her hands were shaking. Emma, you don't understand. Victor was a monster, but I am trapped. The experiments, yes, I participated. He forced me. I faked my disappearance to save myself. And me? The camera? You were insurance. A witness. The video, for protection. Sarah secretly turned on the recorder. And phase 1? Elena paled. Where? Okay. There's more. Victor isn't alone. There was a network, scientists who continued the experiments. I wanted to expose them. You could have helped. Help? You almost killed me, no. Victor wanted to eliminate you, but her eyes were lying. Sarah nodded, enough. We left. A man in a trench coat was waiting outside, not Victor, but similar. Girls, you're meddling in something that's none of your business. We ran, and he followed. We dove into a crowd of tourists. At the hotel, I called Martin. She's in San Francisco. And someone's hunting us. The police reacted quickly. Elena was arrested the next day. The video and our testimony were enough. It turned out that the network was real, a group of psychologists experimenting with mind control for corporations. Elena wasn't a victim, but the leader. Victor was her partner, whom she turned in to gain control. The basement was a test for me. Phase 1 was recruiting a student. But the twist? In prison, Victor contacted me through a lawyer. Emma, she lied. I wanted to stop her. She killed our daughter, the one in the photo in the locker. I was hunting for revenge. He sent files, recordings of Elena giving orders. Both behind bars, the network exposed that I returned to Ohio, but I've changed. No more naive nerds. Yale accepted me, an essay about real-life drama. Sarah became closer than a sister, but regret? I regret agreeing to help. I opened the door to a world where teachers are masks. Sometimes, hearing the knock, I think, what if this isn't the end? What if the network is alive, and I'm the next project? A year passed. I was preparing to leave for Yale, packing boxes in my room. Lincoln High was left behind, as were the gossip. But Elena's shadow lingered. Every letter, every call made me shudder. I checked the locks twice, avoided the basements, and avoided new teachers. One evening, while sorting through an old box, I found a forgotten SD card, a copy of that video. I decided to watch it again. At the end, after her whisper, there was another shot, dark, almost imperceptible. A man, not Victor, in the shadows of the basement. The same one who chased us to San Francisco. I sent the file to Martin. He called an hour later. Emma, this is bad. This man is Dr. Lawrence Kane. A member of their network. He's on the loose. Go to bed, we'll increase patrols. That night, I heard a knock on the window. Not the door, the window. Slow, rhythmic. I froze, phone in hand. The streetlight flickered, and the shadow vanished. The next morning, I received a letter. No return address. Inside was a photo of me in the cafeteria, with Sarah, with the caption, Phase 2 begins. I burned it, but my fingers trembled. Elena was in prison. Victor, too. But the network? It was alive. And I was its target.